Hello again, everybody. Welcome to the Backbone Podcast, where common sense still makes sense in a world that is sick and only getting sicker. And, if you are a football fan, if you've watched the game at all or pay attention to the game, there's one name that has continued to pop up since the time of his draft, back in, April, May. And that is a player named Shedeur Sanders. Now, everybody and their mama, in the media at least, thought that this guy was going to be the next coming of Joe Montana. This guy was supposed to be the new face of the NFL. And when he was drafted in the 5th round, everybody, from his father to the media, everybody said, this is wrong. This kid is better than where he was drafted, blah, 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 blah. When he was made 3rd string on the Browns behind Joe Flacco and Dylan Gabriel, there was a media storm around the Browns. A media storm. Shedeur should be starting. Shedeur should be higher, blah, 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 blah. It got to the point where Kevin Stefanski, the head coach of the Browns, didn't even want to mention this kid's name. And frankly, I think Kevin Stefanski's probably going to be fired at the end of the year. But it's gotten to, this guy probably hates this kid. He has brought so much drama to this team through his antics, through his father, and through the sports media world, which is so concerned with black quarterbacks performing in the NFL that they try to almost bully the Browns into starting this kid. Now, Jason Whitlock had a very every week he goes through the records of the black quarterbacks in the NFL, because I think half of them are black. Half of the quarterbacks in the NFL are black today, and he rips them apart. Their record in the NFL combined is like 58, 83, and 1 or something like that. I mean, it's terrible. It's terrible. The experiment of pushing black quarterbacks onto teams has failed. The game is awful. You can't even watch these games anymore. Last night's Eagle game between Detroit, that should have been a fantastic game. It was terrible. The NFL is so hard to watch. Forget about the play. The officiating is a disaster. The officiating is in crisis. If you saw that Eagle game last night, I was talking about, the end of the game with that pass interference was, I don't know. I just don't get it anymore. I'm starting to really think that these games are rigged, that what people are saying is true, that these games are rigged. But let's get back to Shedeur. He made one of the worst debuts I have ever seen an NFL quarterback make. He was so bad last night. I kind of felt bad for the kid. I do feel bad for him. I have kids that played in high school. Now my daughters are in college, and they're on the track team in college, and they're doing very well. You root for them. If something happens, your heart breaks for them. At this level, and I don't know anyone who has ever been at this level, the scrutiny that this kid must be going through must be enormous. He finished last night's game 4 of 16 passing, 47 yards, no TDs, a pick, and 2 sacks. And the Ravens were literally daring the Browns to throw the football. They put like 8 guys in the box. When you do that, you are basically saying, we don't respect your quarterback. And when the game was over, the head coach, Kevin Stefanski, it was reported by Cleveland media that Stefanski did not allow or did not have Shedeur prepare with the first team during practice at all this season. And that's the reason why, he didn't say this, but he just didn't get any snaps with the first team, and that's all you needed from this racial, political sports media. Well, that's the reason why Shedeur stunk. He didn't get any snaps with the first team. That's his out. It's all, guess whose fault? The white head coach's fault, which is absolutely ridiculous, if you ask me. But that's just the way it is. Now, in the press conference, Shedeur said, and I quote, "I don't think I played good at all." Well, that's a fucking understatement. That's a fucking understatement. I mean, the kid was just god awful. And he wasn't even very good in college. Now, why are there so many people that root for this kid? If you're in Cleveland, there's a lot of number 12 jerseys being sold. And it's because his last name is Sanders. But the rest of the fans out there, including the players, and I'm going to show you some clips, they seem to abhor this guy. And I do feel a little bad for him. Now, listen, this kid grew up in privilege. He grew up in a multi-million-dollar home. He had access to the best education, the best this, the best that, all the stuff that you and I couldn't dream of having. So do I feel bad for him in that sense? No. But this is a young kid. This is a young kid. And like I said, to make it personal, when you see your child out there, and my son plays football, and he's doing very, very well, whether it's wrestling or track or baseball or football, when they do great, everybody pats you on the back as a parent. I mean, I'm more popular in my little town because of my kids than for my own actions. But when the team loses, they recently lost a playoff game to a very good team down in our area. You know, everybody starts pointing fingers. They point fingers at the coach. They point fingers at the quarterback. They point fingers at the the secondary who gave up in that particular game 2 terrible pass interference calls. Everybody talks. And it sucks because these are 17, 18, 16-year-old boys. And Sanders, who's never had any adversity in his life, is now going to feel the brunt of how awful social media can be. Now, again, like I said, he doesn't help his cause. Here is Shedeur coming out. Let me, if you didn't see this, it's the third quarter, 12 minutes and 43 seconds into the third quarter. It's 16-10, Browns are winning. Dillon Gabriel is concussed. Shedeur Sanders is the backup quarterback. He's been called to come into the game. Listen to this reception he gets and watch his antics.
First time, it is Shedeur Sanders. Fans do not know that Gabriel is being evaluated for a concussion, but they were chanting first time, it is Shedeur Sanders.
So the fans are chanting this kid to come in. They want him in there because they are believing the media hype on this guy. They don't believe the head coach. They don't believe the other teams that passed him by 5 times. They think this guy is going to turn one of the most pathetic sports franchises in North American history into a winner. And they're going to be let down again. They're going to be let down again. And his antics don't help. You know, the whole hand waving and all this other shit. Dude, you're a 5th-round draft pick. Get into the game, head down, try your best. People will root for you if they're in Pittsburgh or wherever. people will root for you if you try your best and you stay humble. But when you throw these antics around, and when you wear the big gold chain, and you say stupid fucking things in press conferences, and you have a Nike campaign where it says his time will come, it makes people root against you. And when you perform like this, it is a shit show. It is an absolute shit show when that happens. And this is a guy who just doesn't get it. Now, he's too young. But what is Shannon Sharpe's excuse? Shannon Sharpe on his broadcast last night made these incredible statements that you just wonder what these people are thinking. Now, again, we're going back to the no snaps with the first team. Shannon Sharpe is here with Chad Johnson, and they're talking about Shedeur's disastrous performance. Now, remember, these guys are, I guess you can say that they're in media, but the media made a full spin of this whole thing. We're going to show you this clip. It's about 4 minutes long. Shannon Sharpe, Ocho Cinco. Here they go.
Kevin Stefanski to say the first time that Shedeur Sanders had taken a snap with the starters, with the ones, was in this game, is malpractice. At no point in time, and this is what I said, Ocho, so at no point in time, so you don't think Dylan Gabriel could possibly get hurt. He can't possibly bring a knee, bring a shoulder, get concussion. There's no possible way anything could possibly go wrong that you want to get Shedeur like one reps with the ones, two reps with the ones. I ain't saying split it 50-50. I understand that. But even when John was taking the majority of the reps, John, if we did 10 reps in a period, the backup would take 2. Just in case. So for Shedeur Sanders, here we are in week 11. The man got drafted in May, and at no point in time had he taken one snap with the ones. It's very, very disappointing.
And, hold on. Look, not only is it disappointing, right? And a lot of people will say, "Hey, listen, you and Unc, you were screaming for Shedeur to start. You wanted him to get in there, and look at his stat line. Look at what he did. Well, obviously, I'm confused, and I'm trying to understand. This ain't Madden. You don't just take out one quarterback and put another quarterback in and expect success to happen, especially when you haven't had any reps with the ones. When it comes to the play calling, what play calls are you going to be able to call for a quarterback that hasn't had any reps with the ones? You don't know what he does well, what he doesn't do, you don't know what he does well. You don't know what he's not going to be good at because there's no chemistry. There's no chemistry. So you're just out there calling plays all willy-nilly, not knowing how the offense can run. And I know as a quarterback, you're supposed to be prepared. You're supposed to know, if the opportunity presents itself, you got to be able to go in there and do what you can do. But like, come on, no reps at all.
Let me ask you a question.
No reps up?
No, but let me ask you this. Normally on Saturday, or Sunday morning, Dylan Gabriel will tell Stefanski, these are the plays that I really like.
Every quarterback does that. Quarterback does that, huh?
Every quarterback does that. So do you think he had any idea of the plays that Shedeur likes?
No.
Or he's just going to call plays here's my play sheet and I'm calling. Because you build your play sheet around the quarterback and what he likes, what he's good at, what he's good at. You don't even know what Shedeur is good at. Now it's going to be very interesting. Look at this play. Now you got 3 guys blocking one guy, and somebody about to come in and hit Shedeur dead in his mouth.
Free.
Now what should have happened was a redirect. You slide the line to the left, and now guess what? You got the guard or the center to hit that guy that's looping around, and now you're protected. But hey, the O-line is going to have to make calls until Shedeur
catch up.
Get in the groove of things. He's not there right now to say, no. I want you to go here. Hey, redirect. Let's Liz this. Let's Lucy this. Now we're going to slide the line to the left. Now we're going to take, You only got one guy rushing on the right. Why the hell we got 3 guys, and now we got a guy finna come in here and try to put his helmet up under Shedeur's chin? So it's going to be very interesting this week. I'm sure Gabriel is going to be in protocol. We'll see if Shedeur is going to get the start against. I think they play the Raiders, Ocho. I think they play the Raiders. We'll see if he gets the start against the Raiders, and he'll get an opportunity to take all the reps, all the ones, and Stefanski will have an idea what he likes and will call plays accordingly. That's how it works.
And honestly, it's very important too for Stefanski to understand and know what his quarterback likes to do, because it allows you to call plays and put him in advantageous situations for you. It just makes your job easier. It just makes your job easier as a head coach and for a quarterback to know what he likes, so the offense is able to run smooth.
So you see where the spin is going. It's the offensive line's fault. It's the coaching. It's the head coach's fault. He doesn't talk to Sanders. He doesn't find out what Sanders is good at, what Sanders isn't good at. And it seems to me that Sanders is more not good at things than good at things. But you see where these guys are going. Now, if you heard specifically, Shannon Sharpe brought up a professional experience. Now, Shannon Sharpe is a 3-time Super Bowl winning tight end, Hall of Famer. Chad Johnson, not a Hall of Famer, but he played a long time in the NFL. Sharpe said that John, meaning John Elway, would take, if there was 10 snaps on a drive or whatever, he would take 8, and the backup quarterback, which was Gary Kubiak, I believe at the time, would take 2. If I hear that, I'm not gonna doubt Shannon Sharpe, because he played in the league and I didn't. He was there and I wasn't. This was everything, and this was the whole topic of conversation in the media. This Josina Anderson. Let's be clear. This is not an intentional Shedeur debut, coached up with any first-team reps all season from Kevin Stefanski. Sanders is playing by default only due to a Dylan Gabriel concussion. This Josina Anderson is just another, black broad in the media who doesn't know shit about sports or football or anything else, probably. She's another DEI hire. But she's getting on the bandwagon, blaming the head coach for not giving first-team reps to the backup quarterback. Now, again, maybe people are going to believe what she has to say. Maybe people are going to take what she says seriously. Until Kurt Warner enters the stage. Kurt Warner tweets, and I quote, "Everywhere I was, the backup rarely got number 1 snaps. I wanted all the snaps when I was number 1, and if the backup got any, it was a couple at the end of different periods." He was quoting, or he was retweeting this. Now, Kurt Warner is a Super Bowl winning, multiple NFL MVP, Hall of Fame quarterback. Why do I believe Kurt Warner more than I would Shannon Sharpe? Forget about that Josina Anderson broad. Forget about it. She's just a woman. But Shannon Sharpe told his audience that John Elway did this on a regular basis. Is Shannon Sharpe trying to deceive his audience? I mean, why would he? Unless he's trying to protect the black quarterback who they feel should be playing. Unless this is identity sports politics that has just dominated the NFL for the last 20 years. Kurt Warner has no reason to lie here. And I just have to believe Warner. For some, I remember I was growing up when Joe Montana and Steve Young had the big quarterback controversy in 1988, when it was like quarterback 1A, 1B, but Montana was 1A, and Joe got all the snaps unless he was hurt, and he was hurt a lot that season. But Joe still got all those snaps. Why is Shannon Sharpe? Why are all these people bringing this point up? Well, because Kevin Stefanski told this reporter in Cleveland that Sanders wasn't equated with the offense. Now, the problem with this is that Cleveland fans and regular football fans who live in their mother's basement, don't have jobs probably, they are attacking Kurt Warner. This guy on Twitter says, you contradicted yourself. You wanted all the reps, then said the backup rarely got any, then a couple at the end of different periods. What fans are saying is Shedeur hasn't gotten any at all. Not one, not a couple, not any since he got drafted. A couple is more than zero. Warner incredibly responds saying, I just answered a question. I didn't contradict anything. And yes, he did. He got reps in offense all through the fall. But the point is valid for sure. Always hard to step in and run an O you aren't fully familiar with or don't have a lot of reps in. I would never argue with that. And fans are now going back and forth. Flacco at the time was the number one quarterback. Gabriel didn't get any first-team reps as number two. So why would Sanders get zero when he became number two? Why would he get number two? This is all because of the last name Sanders. This has nothing to do with him at all. This has nothing to do with first-team reps. No one is defending J.J. McCarthy, who in Minnesota had one of the worst performances you'll ever see yesterday as well. These young quarterbacks just stink. They just stink. And now some of them are great. Drake May, a few others. We like this Jackson Dart that the Giants have. He's got to learn how to slide, but this is all identity politics here. And people are, it's gonna ruin the sport. It's just gonna ruin the sport. And this all started way back in around 2002, 2003 with Donovan McNabb. Rush Limbaugh, who was, if you don't know, a conservative radio talk show host, was hired by ESPN for some reason, for some ungodly reason, I don't know why. And he made the statement, which got him fired, where he said it's important to the NFL that a black quarterback succeeds. Of course, everybody said he was racist. Everybody said he was ignorant. He got fired, blah, 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 blah. He's been proven right. And it's killing this game. This once great game is dying because they have this DEI bullshit, this Rooney Rule bullshit, these awful officials. They got to get these women off the field. They got all these black referees now, all these women. They're all terrible. The game, you can't even watch the games anymore. Gambling is involved in everything now with the NFL, and if you think that they're going to be saved from all this scandal that's going on in basketball and baseball, you're nuts. They just are, I think they're a little bit more organized in hiding it. But there will be a leak sooner or later because these games are they're not on the up and up anymore. But we will see. Shedeur Sanders will be getting abused in every stadium he goes to now. More so than most quarterbacks. Nobody is going after who's Drake May. Nobody's they're booing him, of course, when he walks into a road stadium. But not what Shedeur Sanders is going to get. And next week when they play the Raiders, and the Raiders stink, if he doesn't perform at least at a mediocre rate against one of the worst teams in the game, then there's going to be hell to pay in Cleveland. Or maybe not. Who knows? They've been run so terribly for so long. They have one of the most incompetent general managers you'll ever see. So maybe it won't matter. The Cleveland fans are stupid. They'll keep paying that money. They'll keep buying the jerseys and paying that money to buy tickets and watch this team suck. It'll be interesting to see now, with the reps and with the play calling that Stefanski's going to use, whether this kid improves. Because if he goes in next week and he lays another egg, and if the Browns stink. If they lose the game, they lose the game. But if his numbers are shockingly bad like they were yesterday, then they're going to – how are you going to spin it? It will be blamed on the head coach, of course, and he's going to get fired. We all know that. But sooner or later, the player has to take accountability, and Shedeur will never take accountability because he's never had to. His dad has coached him from peewee football to college. So adversity is not his strength. Diversity is. And there's my 2 cents. Thanks again for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Be careful out there, my friends. Satan is always busy. Be a man and have a backbone, because masculinity and common sense are worth standing up for. And just remember, if it ends in an ism, it's a mental disorder. We'll see you later.